A canary has just died in the great pixel mines of software, and no, I'm not talking about the decline of ping pong sales. This time the canary was brutally beaten to death by lawsuits. Not the ones like Nintendo sending cease and desist letters to prominent Super Smash tournaments, or that one time Microsoft destroyed the life of a 17-year-old kid because his name was Mike Rowe. I mean, really. Why would you name your kid Mike Rowe? You already know Microsoft is coming at him. This time it's game mechanics. Yes, patenting game mechanics. I'm sure you've all heard of Nintendo versus Power World. Perhaps Power World flew a little bit too close to the sun with some of the designs of their characters, but Nintendo's also taking Power World to court over game mechanics. This drawing is actually going to be inserted into evidence showing Power World breaking patents. Now imagine losing to this drawing. As you can clearly see here, hand on ball motion clearly being violated. It's so over. But I don't want to talk about Nintendo Power World. That has been talked to death. A new game mechanic lawsuit from a major company has just dropped. Yes, Sega is suing Memento Mori over 5 patent claims. Now, Memento Mori may not be very popular in the Americas, but it did actually reach #1 in the Japanese App Store. And the game is known for its beautiful witch characters, of which we would clearly just call waifus. Now, BOI says that they tried to negotiate with Sega but could not reach an agreement leading to the lawsuit. Dr. Sirkin Toto even looked at the patents and described one of them as specifically a system for fusing character cards of the same kind more easily. Yep. Game mechanics. The lawsuit could financially hurt BOI. Sega's lawsuit following Nintendo's legal action against Power World owner Pocket Pair might also signal a new trend in big Japanese studios looking for damages from smaller ones that surprisingly launch hit games. So I'm going to need you to brace yourself because I'm about to get a little bit of a hot take now. If Nintendo or Sega happen to win their case, I think the gaming scene in Japan is absolutely cooked because it is going to be green lighting a bunch of these larger companies that can weather. What? This is going to greenlight a bunch of these larger gaming studios in Japan that if they can weather the lengthy litigation of any lawsuit, they could potentially crush their smaller counterpart. Because what happens when these smaller counterparts receive one of these legal threats? They pretty much are forced to settle outside of court or face the potential of getting absolutely financially destroyed in court. No, I get this, right? Yeah, this is just Japan we're talking about, right? This is not going to happen in America, right? Right? You may remember when boomers used to roam the earth in Lincoln Town cars. During that time, the Zoom didn't have a little scroll wheel that was also a clicker because of a patent from Apple. This changed the course of everything. Like, imagine it. We could have all been having our little turd brown Zunes together with our W phones and all hailing that pregnant man emoji as the greatest CEO of all time, Bill Gates. And if you just don't think that US-based game studios aren't just salivating at the outcomes of this, attempting to use this to squeeze out US competition, you are deluding yourself. EA has filed 1,000 and you've all heard of 2 separate patents, and some of them contain interface navigation, dynamic difficulty, and anti-cheat video game systems. Now, sure, Call of Duty probably could have actually used a little bit of patent infringement because their previous anti-cheat system was absolutely terrible. Why are Apple icons different than Android? Literally patented border radiuses. Now, Prime, EA hasn't actually sued anybody yet. No, I understand that EA actually hasn't sued anybody yet over any of these game mechanics, but if you think for a moment that what stood between EA and $1 billion worth of Loot Crate sales to get kids addicted early to gambling was a patent, EA would most certainly take that patent and destroy whatever company it needed to be able to get that dollar, okay? See, the thing is that patent trolls, they don't need to win cases. They just need that legal threat to hold down competition. They just need to be able to send that letter. And when EA sends some gigantic set of lawyers over to an indie studio with 3 people, do you think they're just going to be able to be like, oh yeah, let's spend the next 4 years in litigation? No. In fact, I remember in 2017 when I was still at Netflix, we actually had patent lawyers sit down with us and try to convince us on ways in which we could patent the UI, data fetching, and almost any part of our app that we could think of. Now, luckily, during that time, I kind of saw myself out, but we had the brainstorm. And their big claim was they are just actually filing patents to be defensive against other patents. For the good of software and gaming, software patents need to be deprecated. And for the good of all of us, Nintendo and Sega have to lose. Okay, like, sub, bye.